The story begins in the bustling port of New Orleans, where a U.S. cargo ship prepares for a long journey across the Atlantic. The crew, a mix of seasoned sailors and fresh recruits, laugh and exchange stories as the vessel sets sail, unaware of what lies ahead. On the docks, an old sailor with weathered eyes warns them of cursed waters, an area where ships vanish without a trace, and sailors whisper of the devil's mark. The captain dismisses it as superstition, but unease lingers in the hearts of some. The first 2 nights are calm, until strange sounds echo across the deck. When dawn breaks, the crew discovers symbols carved into the wooden planks, deep and deliberate, as if etched by unseen hands. No one admits to carving them. The captain orders silence, but whispers spread among the men. The devil's sign has followed them to sea. The voyage grows darker as the weather turns suddenly violent, with black clouds swirling overhead despite clear forecasts. The ship is tossed like a toy, and the compass spins without direction, leaving the crew disoriented. Radios begin to crackle with strange interference, voices speaking in a language no one can recognize, chilling them to the bone. One young deckhand swears he sees a crimson glow beneath the surface, like burning eyes rising from the deep. That night, a crewman finds more of the mysterious signs etched into the mast, sharper and larger than before. Panic grows, though the captain insists it's only vandals among them. Yet, fear becomes undeniable as men whisper about curses and demons. Some refuse to work, while others watch the sea in silence, convinced they are being followed. As storms roar above, the feeling becomes clear: something ancient and evil is watching. The devil's sign is spreading. When the crew finally attempts to reach out for help, the ship's communication systems begin to fail one after another. Radios lose signal, wires spark, and their distress call to the U.S. Coast Guard cuts off mid-sentence, replaced by static. The operator rushes to check the equipment, only to discover something chilling. On the radio room's walls, deep grooves spell out a single word: sign. Fear grips the men as they realize whatever is haunting them has taken control of the ship itself. The captain refuses to turn back, arguing that superstition won't dictate their course, but whispers spread that their leader is too prideful to see the danger. At night, the crew huddles together, listening to the eerie silence that follows each failure of their machines. One by one, lights flicker and go dark, leaving only lanterns to keep shadows at bay. In the darkness, the sea seems endless, swallowing their hope, while the carved warning on the wall feels more like prophecy than threat. The terror takes on a new form when sailors begin reporting a shadowy figure walking the deck at night. At first, they assume it's a tired crewman, but when confronted, the figure dissolves into mist and vanishes before their eyes. Rumors explode. Some say it's the devil himself. Others whisper it's the spirit of a doomed sailor bound to guide them into the abyss. Then, near the lifeboats, a fresh symbol appears, this time drawn in what looks like blood. The crew recoils in horror, their sense of safety shattered. Men begin accusing one another, convinced someone aboard has brought evil with them. Suspicion turns to shouting matches, and discipline unravels. Once a tight-knit team, the crew is now divided, filled with mistrust. As waves crash against the hull, fear becomes their new captain, and the ship feels less like a vessel of trade and more like a coffin drifting through cursed waters. The breaking point comes when a young crewman collapses on deck, thrashing and screaming in a voice that is not his own. His words are distorted, guttural, echoing with something inhuman. He claims the sea belongs to the devil, and that by crossing this path, the crew has invited damnation. Men gather around, frozen with terror, as the sailor convulses before scrawling a message on the wall with trembling fingers: "He is coming." Moments later, his body goes limp, his eyes staring lifelessly into the void. The ship grows silent, the air heavy with dread, as they realize this death is no accident but a message. Some beg to turn back, but the captain, pale and shaken, insists they continue. Morale breaks, and whispers spread like wildfire. The crew now knows the truth they cannot ignore. They are not alone, and whatever stalks them is tightening its grip with every mile. Supplies dwindle, and desperation begins to consume the men. Arguments erupt over food and water, and paranoia turns friends into enemies. One sailor, trembling with fear, insist the only way to escape is to cast their cargo overboard, hoping to appease the dark force haunting them. With nothing left to lose, they obey, tossing crates into the churning sea. But instead of relief, the ocean rises violently, as if invisible hands are snatching the offerings back. That night, the water glows a menacing red, casting an eerie light over the ship. Whispers ripple through the crew that the devil does not want their goods. He wants their souls. Faces grow pale as realization sinks in, and men begin to pray out loud. The sea no longer feels natural but alive, watching, waiting. What was once desperation turns to resignation, as many believe only a sacrifice of flesh will end their torment. The ship is thrown into chaos as monstrous waves rise higher than any storm should allow, battering the vessel until it creaks like it will split in half. Lightning illuminates the devil's mark, glowing bright across the sails, as if branded by fire itself. A shadow rises from the ocean, massive and shapeless, towering over the ship, its form too dark and vast to be human. Crew members scream, fight, or drop to their knees in prayer. Madness takes some, who leap into the waters, never to resurface. The captain grips the wheel with trembling hands, his voice breaking as he orders the ship toward a faint light in the distance, a beacon flickering on the horizon. Some cry at salvation, others swear it's a trap. The sea rages louder, the shadow closes in, and the crew faces their final stand, torn between faith, fear, and the devil's rising power. At dawn, silence falls. The sea lies calm as glass, and the ship is nowhere to be seen. No wreckage floats, no cries echo, only the endless horizon remains. Weeks later, off the coast of Florida, a U.S. Coast Guard cutter discovers a single lifeboat drifting aimlessly. Inside lies a weathered journal, the captain's log, soaked with salt but legible enough to read. The final entries grow frantic, describing symbols spreading across the ship, shadows that walked in the night, and a final storm unlike anything seen before. The last page is smudged, the handwriting shaking. We saw the devil's sign at sea, and no one escapes his waters. The journal ends there. The lifeboat carries no crew, no cargo, only silence. To this day, sailors speak of the cursed voyage, warning others never to cross those waters, for the devil's sign is said to still linger beneath the waves.